Rapid Motion Africa. This week we present highlights from the golden age of motor racing, some great looking racing motor cars of the past, and featuring predominantly some legends of the now. And this is all made possible by sponsors who were around in the 60s, 70s and 80s that gave great support, and that was Castrol Car Magazine and Goodyear. The Zwartkops Raceway, where everybody's made to feel welcome with its informal friendliness, saw a huge crowd packing into the track at the beginning of February to see some of their favourites, like V12 Ferraris. Racing icons like Sarel van der Merwe is going to be racing the Bob Olthoff Ford Galaxy. There were Studebakers, Ford GT40s, Lola T70s and Aston Martin DB4s and many more, which we'll show you during this program. But let's get down to the motor racing. The first race on the program, the Castrol 362s. It's a new class in South Africa racing for the Silver Springbok Trophy, and Francois Pretorius is with me, and it's nice to see cars going back that far, Francois.
It's absolutely brilliant, Roger. You know, we don't get many opportunities to see these cars. Some of these cars are South Africa based, others are not, and to see them out and actually being driven, as we'll see later on, these guys actually drive these cars. They're not pussyfooting around this circuit.
This is not demo stuff there. We've got a British car leading an American Daytona, and we've got an Italian car trying to pass the hull on the inside, and that's Paolo Cavalieri going on the inside of number 26, and that's the Davis Martin Lamar Shelby Cobra. That's the type of car Bobby Olthoff also raced in his times. They climb up the hill. It's the DB4, the Aston Martin in the front, but look on the brakes. Paolo Cavalieri, and he takes this car to every meeting,
He races it everywhere.
He races
and Paolo drives his car. Paolo is one of the most accomplished race drivers in this country. And let me tell you something, he drives this car. He doesn't go there to play around. He actually gets the hammer down and he goes.
He does, he sure does. Behind him he's got Dick Sorensen, that's the D-Type Jaguar just behind him, keeping him in sight there. So Paolo's gone up to second spot. He's got the Aston Martin inside. It's a heavy ask for him to get to that Aston Martin, but he's going to try, and he seems to get them on the brakes.
He does, and the car is so well prepared. Alex Epenik and the guys down at Evolution 2 Motorsport do a brilliant job of preparing that Ferrari. And it's always right, Roger. When that car comes out, it looks like a clean new pin, and it's right. And Paolo can drive that car right to the nth degree.
And a glorious sound. There's the D-Type Jaguar. That's number 186 is Keith van Heerden. D-Type Jaguar replicas. Most of these D-Types are replicas. They're beautifully presented. Andre de Kock comes into view. He's in the Dart, and he also broke his leg at the 9-0 revival with Carl Army.
And John Bird in that yellow Jaguar, John, that car comes out every year for this meeting. And John Bird loves his car, but it comes out, it's clean, and he runs it at this meeting every year. And it's the only time we actually see him racing the car.
That's actually true. And the 356, that's a well-numbered Porsche, that push-rod engine. That's where they started to tune up Volkswagen engines, everybody used to say, and put them into a lightweight sports car.
Oh, correct. Actually, Roger, a very interesting fact is you can get more horsepower out of a Volkswagen flat 4 1600 motor than out of the Porsche motor, but we won't go there now.
That's Warwick Milner who's driving the car. As Paolo Cavalieri retakes second position, the Cobra puts his nose in there, he's back, and Sorensen is sending that D-Type Jaguar. Big time. It's lovely to see them keeping him in sight there.
They're really keeping on the black stuff, Roger, I think is what you're saying. I mean, watching Richard drive that car, he slides that Jaguar all over the place, keeps it under control, and the guys are going. I mean, this is actually great motor racing to watch.
Oh, those Cobras did well.
Oh, man, look at that car go. It's beautiful.
It's wonderful.
John Bird in his wonderful yellow Jag that he brings out once a year, as we said.
There's a little Protea, of course, the South African Bull Protea. It's Stuart Grant driving that. He's the editor of Classic Car Africa magazine. He's just behind the green MGs in a twin cam. Those twin cams are absolute pigs to work on, eh?
Yeah, I mean, to try and work on those cars, I think Nick Parrott is one of the few people today that can still rebuild some of those engines for you, and he knows how to do it. And Nick, obviously, coming out of the pharmaceutical business, not being a mechanic.
And Paolo Cavalieri on the brakes is trying to get around the outside to get Martin Bruin 53, the DB4 Aston Martin. He's trying very hard.
That's a bit unfair of Martin. You know, I mean, it's reminiscent of production car racing. I've seen people do that and get a 6-month ban. Let's see what happens now.
There might be just something ahead here. Here's the little Protea, Stuart Grant saying, go on my left-hand side. As they come down, there are not many laps left in this race. He comes through. Stuart Grant goes over to the right-hand side of the circuit.
Just look how nicely Paolo closes through the corner, Roger, the way that car handles. I mean, Paolo...
He's quick in and out of corners, though, too. He is a real racer, as you said.
He's blocking. He's driving in the centre of the road the whole time. I can see the fumes starting to come out of Paolo's ears.
Right, so it's the Davis Martin car, that Daytona in second position. He's trying it around the outside. Didn't give a lot of room there, too. Mind you, it's all fair and love and war, this one.
Oh, yes.
We've got an English car. I think it's a V8 there ahead of the V12 Ferrari. Sounds glorious. Can we hear it now? Absolutely.
That thing sings.
You hear it everywhere. It's a Zwartkops, lovely. Daytona coming past the wee Porsche. Now, 356, the number of the 356, I think there's a lot of fans of those cars. I think it was a drawing number, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
You're a Porsche man.
Yeah, but a speedster like that, Roger, is very rare to see. I mean, that is a replica, but there are not many of those cars around.
No.
See, John Bird's sticking on. Look at these two now. They come up upon this wonderful dice between Mr. Green and Mr. Bird over here.
And they've been having a good class,
but look at them working their way through. You can see it's two experienced race drivers at work here.
And they get those big cars sideways. Those are big, heavy sports cars that come down towards us. The Aston Martin in front. Here comes Paolo inside. He's tagging.
Okay.
He's gone straight. Oh, he's in that dust somewhere. It's quite a motor car to put on the dirt. Here he comes. He's using it as a tractor coming back onto the scene.
Somebody did once say that the British did try and make some tractors, Roger.
And actually, Aston Martin did make tractors, funny enough. Yeah. I just thought about that. Now, right, here's the Torrens. Isn't that a beautiful? That is what you'd call a sexy looking.
Look at the way he's sliding through there. It looks beautiful.
Absolutely, good stuff.
Some really wonderful cars we've got out here at the moment.
Yeah, we saw number 9, that's Alan Grant. He's another Protea just ahead there. Then we've got that Lotus Elite of Robin Longdon. That was a classic little car. I think that car was fiberglass. That almost started the fiberglass cars, that number 5
That's
coming
sort of when they got going like that. And, Alan Grant's been passed in the Protea over there.
And Franz
Pretorius just always out there. And look at that, driving that Austin Healey of his again. It's great to see that car.
Now, he loves that motor car. He loves that Healey. So does Mike Knight. It's a good-looking motor car. As they come down towards it and having a nice time there, Neil Oosthuizen is having a quiet little drive, and suddenly all hell is let loose around him. As 12-cylinder engines come past and Henny Levere's got the checkers out. Listen to it come across the line, great stuff there. And that's Paolo's first win ever in this motor car. He's had it for just over a year here. He really does race it, and he's going to be thrilled at one. And behind him was Mark Devis in the Shelby Cobra Lamar car. Dick Sorensen, very good drive there to third. Peter Grove was fourth. We didn't see much of the E-Type, and Martin Brewer in the Aston Martin came back to fifth. They might be old, but Manu is certainly pushing him to the limit.
Yeah, Roger, it's very pleasing to see a Ferrari victory in South Africa again, against some decent opposition for the first time, and then also for the first time on equal terms.
See a little bit of a ding on the nose.
Had a ding on the nose because this gentleman clearly used to racing Group 1 and production cars. As Roger used to say, it's wartime. And I was told that in his Stokes it's not the way to behave. But it's nice to have a good scrap, so enjoyed it.
Well, Martin, it's lovely to have you back in the country, and that was a real scrap. And that Aston Martin, we've never seen them go like that.
It's good to be here again. I missed last year, but I'm here again this year, and the car's going well. We prepare it all at home, so Runnymede Motor Company does the whole thing. I had a great scrap with this gentleman, and until he sort of gave me a big nudge on the last lap, then I don't know.
Actually your brakes had faded coming down the hill.
No, I just I was angled up for a corner, and I just sort of somehow the car slid.
Next up is a short prologue of the main race of the day. That's going to be the Castrol Saving TT, and this is where we're going to see some of the heavy artillery here. Right, on pole, as you see the Donkin's Well V8 McLaren. There's Martin Devis and the Lola T70. I mean, some mighty cars. You've also got the Minshaws of the Chevron V8. Very effective car. 10 is a Detroit. Then comes the Chev Corvette of Michael. The companion comes over from Belgium. He loves his racing over. He was over at the Nano Revival, also at Carl Army. Number 7, David Piper's in the line. A familiar green Ferrari. Right, in the front, we've got the McLaren. And that's a Mark 1B. That's how Bruce McLaren started it all. There's the very effective little number 22 is the Minshaw Chevron.
You can see the whole lot of them here together, Roger, just closing up. Peter Bailey, or in the South African build GT40. Mark Totoy, funny enough, is his boss, Peter Wooten-Hood, sharing the car with him. So I don't know who he's trying to impress, but out there having fun. And actually, I think that Ferrari number 7 is Mike Nell, which one of the locally built P4 replicas. Wonderful car, that very well built.
And it looks very good indeed. Right, we've got Dodkins and Whale in the McLaren in the front. That's the Mark 1B. Here comes Campagna on the inside of, that's David Piper.
That's David Piper in the Ferrari, that's right, Roger.
And there's an interesting little car just behind the Lennon. We'll see more of it a little bit later. It's Eddie Perky, comes from overseas. Is a South African, had raced here in the 70s, lives. In fact, a lot of South African drivers used to go over and see him over there, but we'll see him just now. There's the, I mean, those are giant killers, those little Chevrons, those B8s. They're fantastic.
Wonderful little cars. Yeah.
Peter Bailey, we just spoke about him, just ran out. A little bit anxious to get into that corner. Isn't that a beauty? Never mind, he went off the road.
Yeah, he went off there. You could call it a Bailey bugger up,
It's absolutely beautiful. And there, just coming past, was the Mark 1, the very original McLaren that Bruce McLaren ever made. That 195 is Craig Shorter.
Another one of the Hollard boys playing out there with his toys. He's, also part of the group, Roger, and the whole lot of them love their motor racing, and you can see the guys are out enjoying themselves.
Oh, there's Nick Parrott in a very nicely turned up MG. Looks very much like an American style MGs they used to race with that big rail cage. And Chris Clark, he's effective. It's a little 1600 motor. It's the old Kent Formula 4 racing engine that in that little Morgan. You don't hear too many Morgans here. Oh, right, they're neck and neck now. Now they're starting to get down to the business, and the Martin Davis Lola is starting to let its presence be known. What a big throbbing motor, both of them. Two big V8s, 7 litres plus, I think it's 8 litres in the back of the car. That car was built originally to take on, Ferraris and some of the others at Le Mans, and then it was taken over as a GT40 by Ford, really, that was the Eric Broadley design. Isn't that beauty?
Oh, it's wonderful. And they racing, Roger. I mean, they're close together. This is good motor racing. You've got David Piper, Mike Nell, Michael Campagna, all of them together having a great time.
Oh.
You can see Michael Campagna comes out here quite often. He's even got stickers from a house of ill repute from Cape Town still on the car, which gets put there every year.
So David Piper has got Mike Nell just on his tail. Michael, that's a locally built one, the one behind going over to the left-hand side there is number 7. Isn't that a beauty? Hard to beat those Ferraris. Two of them around there. 23 is the Lotus 23. Of course, is the car that really set the scene like that. Jim Clark used to drive those. I couldn't believe how well they went. Small capacity motors, lightweight, and they used to take on the world. Number 8 just joined this race after about 4 laps. Is Jonathan DeToy at the wheel of that motor car, so it's not really in the picture, just running that car to get it all tuned up for a race that comes later. We got the new leader, the Lola T70. It's Mark Davis in the front there. Boy, are they senior. Now Jonathan DeToy is saying, let me just see if this Daytona Coupe can stay with his car. Just behind him he's got Nick Whale. Here comes the Minshaw's Chevron, man. It's always there. Marcus, that's one you don't often see racing. Driven by Nell and Peters that come down the road. Then it's another Triumph. You've got the MG 101. Edwin Green comes down. It's Peter Bailey. Starts to get into the traffic. It's really, every time we say that, is a beauty, I must say that. And then the Dart comes behind it. South African made Dart. Mike Altona. And France, just a variety of cars here. Ferraris and Lenims and Chevys and Lotus. It's fantastic.
It's wonderful to see this, Roger. It's like going back in time. It's a time warp, It's just making some nutty professor with a time machine to be standing there,
And we forget that these cars are they're all over 30-odd years old. They're unbelievable. And they do, as you said in the beginning, they do send, there's the Lenham now. Not too many of those are built in England. Eddie Perkins brought it out. It's got a Toyota, actually. A modified Toyota head in it. Right, 22 is the Minshaw Chevron.
Lapping another Ferrari P4, also one of the Bailey Edwards cars. It's one of their clients' cars that's out here that's busy showing itself off, being used. Nick Barrett having quite a good day in his little MG. It really is quite a sprightly little car as he gets overtaken there by the McLaren.
As they go on their way to the flag, Henry De Beer's got the checkered flag out. There he is, and the Lola T70 comes through to win it. Jean Martin from Belgium, very good performance ahead of Nick Whale, Jason Minshaw, Peter Bailey, Mark DeToy, and Michael Campagna there in 6th spot ahead of Eddie Burke. Race number 3 coming up. It's for the pre-1962 Goodyear World Sports Car Challenge cars. And there are some beautiful cars in this field. 26 cars were out at practice, going to be over 8 laps. This circuit is just packed.
This is going to be interesting. You've got Frans Pretorius out in the 956 once again, which is great to see. Andre Besaidner driving his Luendo-sponsored Porsche. And then, of course, the purple powder puff in a 917. This has been employed by the Baileys to drive a car.
And doing well, and always in the results. He's doing very, very well indeed. He shared a car in the 9-hour revival. We've got Robert Briggs second in the Westbank V8 Championship year, and the Rookie of the Year in second position, Andre Besaidner. It's that red and white car. There's a whole host of these little Lotuses and Caterhams in the field. And, man, they're all just queuing through. As we say, 26 cars. They certainly fill the circuit.
And, Roger, I tell you something, there are a lot of well-known South African race drivers and well-known South African names. Bernard Telanis going up the hill there in his Tiga. Yeah. Frans Pretorius in the 956. So we've got Robert Briggs. Tony Martin, what can we say? The old man from Natal showing the guys how to do it. Look at the way he drives that car. He knows what he's up to.
And the man who won the Daytona 500 with Sorrel, the 24-hour race, rather, with Sorrel and Graham Duxbury. And he really has come back to this racing and enjoys every minute of it.
And it's there. Here we've got Dave Fourie, the current Porsche Challenge champion. one of the Chris Costas cars, number 57, just going through there. Theo de Toy in his Porsche. And this is an interesting dice because I wonder if Franz Pretorius hasn't got a problem. He seems to be slowing down here and he's let Robert Briggs through.
I don't know if he's leading through. Robert Briggs is going. I see he pumps his brakes rather hard as he comes up to this fast sweep here. France is going again. But on his tail, that Tony Martin is so competitive, he really does go. That car was designed pre-1962. I'd say this is a fairly modern version, but he pedals around to go to
But the outside looks like a version of that era. I think what's underneath the skin there is completely different. But that car goes really
well, we have flat sixes, we have V8s there, 1 and 2. Then we got Henri Bezuidenhout in the Porsche. It's a very, very
okay, there goes France pulling off.
Oh, so something went wrong with the 956. Hopefully, you see that. Right, Robert Briggs has got a man who's won championships in South Africa many, many times. It's Tony Martin, the 00, the Cobra. They built him in Durban. It's called
his backdraft Cobra that Tony races. His company down there, they build the cars, they race them all over the country. 917, Roy Campos behind the wheel. Bailey Edwards guys letting him drive the car. Once again, Dave Ferree. And then we have Colin Frost out of the Shelbys in his car. Theo de Toy. You know, all the main protagonists of South African motorsport here.
And then the hidden numbers on the Lotus and Caterham cars. Only the drivers know what their numbers are. That Colin Frost, he actually builds harbour cranes at car number 9. He's got a great collection of motor cars. Tony Martin's gone to the front, ahead of Robert Briggs. He'll be, I should imagine, learning a little bit from him. Henri Bezuidenhout, a very hot car. That's prepared at Zwartkops, actually. And there's the 917. Roy Campos stays in there. He's driving a lot of cars these days.
Whoa, playing a bit of anti-avoidance, anti-tail avoidance over there. That's not very nice.
That'll affect the car, France. I mean, you're close to all these Porsches.
Well, let me tell you something. Andre's got more aerodynamic devices on that car than any other Porsche, just about. And he's got a lot working in the front, so that car's going to be very loose.
Tail happy, yeah.
It's going to be very tail happy. So.
Oh. So the race goes on there. Sam Hammond and his Porsche. He's been driving Ferraris as well, and Shelby candidates. Bernie Tolanis, that car number 9. That's a T. Bernie, of course, was a Formula Atlantic winner in Mazda engines. He loved those cars. This has got it as well, and it flies. And so does Bernie.
Yeah, Bernie can really drive. And Sam Hammond, John Grieve in his well-known magenta-coloured car.
And John's always in action,
He's in the thick of it. Doesn't matter. You can just see it. Look at that. Just look at that behind the steering wheel. He's giving it everything. And he and Sam are having a battle of notes over it.
And that's a real Porsche colour.
Yeah, that's a proper colour. That is the real car. Magenta.
Yeah. Not many of those in the world, actually.
Sam's getting a bit of a tank slapper over there, trying to keep it together. Let's see what John can do.
I think it's Mike Chitty coming up behind him. You don't know it from the numbers. They're probably inside the motor car.
Yeah.
Right, here he comes. Sam Hammond getting linked on there by the magenta car of John Grieve. He races this car all over the country. When there's Porsche racing, John Grieve is out there. He's a property developer.
Yes, he is a property developer. John in DevCon is his company now. We're going to look at...
Going fourth. He's passed Henri Bezuidenhout, and Bernie Tolanis from the middle of the pack has gone fourth. Here's the leader. Not far to go. That's Tony Martin.
And then we've got Evert van der Kerk in his 911. He does some racing with it as well. And just coming through here, Robert Briggs. And you can see that car, you know, is a West Bank in disguise. You know, it's
never.
Never. No, not at all. Okay, sorry, Roger. I thought it was. But really goes like a bomb, that piece of equipment.
No, it's a hot motor car. It's Carl Pinner built the SP Racing. They built fantastic motor cars. Right, been to the last lap. Lap to go in this race.
And there we actually got a nice sight of Brad Woolley and Gavin Spiller in their low costs as well.
It's a good name, that one.
Yeah. And John and Sam still going at it, Hammer and Tom, somewhere along. And Mike Chitty saying, I'm here, let me through, let me through.
And just behind him, he's got Dave Alexander up from Cape Town, that Tiga Mazda as well. Look at that, a nice little car. Right?
It really is a nice car, and it's well prepared. He always brings that car up and he races it, and he races all the places where he can with that car.
You think that car's number 18? In fact, it's 118. Dave prepares racing cars. And okay, he's going to make a move now. It's John's
really. And Mike Chitty's not getting much of a chance to get through this, I tell you. He's waiting for Mike Chitty has actually won the Lotus Championship in the UK in the 80s, as far as my knowledge goes.
8 laps are up, and here is the winner. He's having a great trot in that car, that backdraft Cobra. That's Tony Martin. Wins it from the Camaro of Robert Briggs. And then in third spot, we got Roy Campos. Good end to this race. Then a whole bunch of Caterhams come across the line. There's the Bailey car. Fourth was Bernie Tolanis, came up from the middle of the field. John Grieve got the better of Mike Chitty and Sam Hammond, who dropped a few places. Then it was Dave Alexander, Rudy Brooks in an Automo, and Russell Westhuizen in a Cobra. Straight out of Texas in the USA comes a Chev Biscayne. New to South Africa, but certainly looking very new, must say. And the man's going to drive it from Zwartkops is Mark du Toit. Mark, it looks impressive. It's going to fill a lot of track.
Yes, the cars are huge. It's just like the Galaxy. I think if we get side by side, no one's going to pass us. It's a lovely car to drive, actually, compared to the Galaxy. It's a bit more predictable. So I think it's going to be a really close race.
But I see the competition's out to get you. I mean, you've dominated in this Galaxy, but there's some fast cars around you.
Yeah, there's a lot of cars that, we qualified third. So they're certainly going to keep me busy, honest. And to win is not going to be as easy as previous years.
Well, I must say, over the years, you haven't changed at all. You look just as young as you ever were. Is that saying nice things to you?
You should see it from my side.
And the car itself, how's it going? Any better than last year?
No, the car's the same, The car's been developed to where it's supposed to be, and it's, 40-year-old car, so you can't tune it up now.
We love it going sideways too. And so the brakes, it always seems to be a problem because a lot of heavy braking here. Hard on the brakes still?
Well, I think it's a weight thing, The car weighs 2 tons, so it's always going to be a brake problem, whatever you do. So you just have to live with it.
Well, it's certainly a big, mighty machine. Is Sorrel van der Merwe. We're on board with him now, passes Brian Rowling. Sorrel was further down the pack. And ahead of him is the Chev Biscayne from Texas with Mark Dutoy. Very evenly matched on practice times as they go up there. Listen to that power of that thing. Big talker.
Roger, everything's big in Texas, I can tell you. But I mean, those cars are like the early age of NASCAR. I mean, I just think we never had these cars racing in South Africa in the past. I mean,
5 corners and he's gone to the front. Sorrel started down in the pack and has gone to the front. It didn't take him too long. He pushes his way through. When you've got Sorrel van der Merwe, any motor car, you've got problems if he's behind you.
And it doesn't matter where he's qualified. He can be 2 seconds behind you. You know you've still got a problem because he will be there.
Alan Poulter's third in that silver Volvo. That's done a lot of sterling service. Rebuilt that motor car. Then there's Brian Rowlings. He was on pole. He's lost out a wee bit, actually. Brian Cook is behind those Mustangs. Very nice Mustangs. Those are the Mustangs raced by Basil van Rooyen and Kurt Swanepoel. They used to bring thousands people come see the race. So Sorrel in the front with Mark Dutoy. This is his first experience of it. Sorrel's he has lost all drive there. He's freewheeling to the side of the road. He's got problems. He may be going over the curbs, done some damage to the drive shaft or something.
Something's happened there. The cars, he's just waiting for, I think, for an opportune moment to pull off, Roger. There we go.
There goes Brian Cook past him, that red Mustang and the Jag.
Jag, and he goes and parks the car. No, that's a pity. That's really a pity.
And that disappoints
that car is actually normally quite reliable. I mean, with a racing car, anything and will break.
Yeah. Well, it's now Mark Dutoy out on his own. There was Peter Grove and the Jag also came past. We saw him, Brian Cook come. So here's the Jags. It's a Mark II Jag. Quite a classic green car. Look at this. Right up his tail is Alan Poulter in that Volvo. And have a look at the little
Frank Copping.
He's telling me he's not doing well. That's fantastic.
He's giving it. And here we've got the Studebaker Golden Hawk. I think it was driven by Ben van der Westhuizen in there.
No, Peter de Klerk.
Peter de Klerk. My apologies. Peter de Klerk.
Peter was saying he thoroughly enjoyed the day's race. He could have done with a little more braking, but he says when you put your foot in that stud V8, it certainly motors along. Here's the car, the magic name's a GTA. That's GT America car. It's Clinton Parsons at the wheel. He's the chairman of the Alpha Club.
Yes, chairman of the Alpha Club. He's been building that car for a while, Roger. And you can see it's a left-hand drive car as well, so it, looks the part, is the part. Oh boy.
And here's the Falcon. Now that is Pedro Pasayutu. Now we all thought he came from Mexico. That's a FIA homologated car. It's 100% within the rules. But in fact, he comes from Wolverhampton.
And his name is Rob Berry.
And his name is Rob Berry. I went over to him and said to him, so do you speak Spanish? He says, no, I speak English, mate. I come from Wolverhampton. So there's a pseudonym. There's Peter de Klerk doing a good job in that study, loving that whole day. And look at this for Alpha Streepy. That's Cabrito. There's Patrick here. I'm sorry he took on number 168. He took the Carabinieri blue light off his roof. He says it wasn't proper. But it was wonderful. And look at this, Julius and Julietas, they all over the circuits.
It's Alpha City, Roger.
It's Alpha City. It certainly is, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, there's poor Stephen Dick putting off in the background. He's in his angle box. Looked like he had a bit of a problem there. He's also one of the young guys that does a lot of mark car racing and loves his historic racing.
Now we often, every year we see the Grand Volume Mercedes-Benz. He drives the car with his brother Andre. This time I think it is Grant driving. There's Stuart Gregg in number 169. Here's the Mark II Jaguar with Frank Kopp. How's a 1960 Renault Dauphine staying with a Jag?
Maybe because it has a Dacia motor or something. Okay, something's going wrong with that Jag.
something went down the circuit. I think it was oil.
There was some kind of slippery liquid, Roger, because look at the steam coming out
there. Motor there, and they're going to catch other people out there.
It's not a nice place to be parked either, especially
another one they've caught out there too.
Oh, look at them everywhere. Even Pedro Pasciutu is ploughing through there to try and get out of the way.
Gee, that's serious on that one. As Granville Yoon comes past, it's so heavy that Murky just able to motor across it.
And that's Denzel Barnett from Zimbabwe also having gone off, being parked across the road there. He comes down every year to come and race as well, and he comes and does a couple of the historic races as well.
It's wonderful to see him. There's a Corsair just went past us. Yeah. Right, here's the leader. Now look behind him, there's an A40. That's Farina design. Look, he also designs Ferraris. And we've got the little imp, and that's Gavin Ritchie. And Stephen Dix behind in the angler. And here's the second man, that's Brian Rawlings at the moment.
Austin, like that, man. Roger. I mean, have you ever seen
A35?
I mean, amazing.
And with his big competition at the time was at Morris Minor. They were the big competition.
And they still big competition. Okay. Somebody's doing a twirly-whirly in the background there as well. Guys just avoiding it, making sure they don't hit one another. The one thing we don't want to see in this form of racing, Roger, is actually damaged motor cars. You hate seeing that.
They're too expensive to repair. Peter de Klerk sending that Studebaker Lark. Right, and they're all queuing up here to get through this corner. I can't believe it. A little Renault Dauphine, that's been perfected for the last 47
years. Yeah, I think it's got...
It must shatter these people when they come from overseas and they look in their mirrors and there's a little Dauphine sitting over there. Here comes, as you say, Alpha City. Stupi comes through, 122 is
another Bolton Volvo as well, coming through. It's wonderful, Roger. I mean, you see the Alphas. I mean, you've got the Esterhazy brothers with their Alpha. They are just Sean Cabrita with his...
You're just talking the Esterhazy brothers. Their father used to run the plant out of Brits when we made Alphas in South Africa. It was Eric Esterhazy. Oh, gee, Ben van der Westhuizen.
Oh, and that was lucky now. You see everybody coming from behind, having to just get out of the way. It's not a good place to be put. Brian Rawlings having to take avoiding. Stephen Dick going to the left. Oh,
just shows you how to swap lanes.
Yeah.
Right, the winner comes through. That's Mark Couture. He's been going to be very thrilled. First time out in the Chef. Biscayne's a big motor in that car. He wins ahead of Brian Rawlings. Brian Cook a third. A little bit quiet for Brian. You normally expect him up near the front. And Pedro Pasciutu or Rob Berry was in fourth position ahead of Alan Polter. Stay where you are. We've got more action from Zwartkops coming up after the break.
They made easy work of New Zealand and demoralized the West Indians. Now, South Africa are ready to make it 3 Test Series victories in a row as they head for Bangladesh. Bangladesh versus South Africa, live on Supersport, proudly delivered to you by Ram Hand-to-Hand Couriers.
Are you ready? Come on. Can you feel it? Come closer. Close down. Watch this.
International Soccer Show Golissimo, Thursday nights at 7:50, only on your World of Champions, brought to you by Discovery, a team worth supporting.
Listen to the roar.
Coming this season, prepare for the biggest and the best rugby spectacle ever.
The man in black in front, got away with it. Good breaks, he's got massive legs, big dive.
biggest games in the rugby universe. Right here, only on your World of Champions.